Back, President Trump launching new attacks against California and its governor this morning, threatening to revoke all federal funding over a transgender athlete making it to track and field state finals. Now, this is the second time President Trump has tried this tactic. You might remember the administration froze federal education dollars for Maine earlier this year over its refusal to comply with Trump's executive order banning transgender athletes, only to later restore those funds. Joining us now is Republican strategist and MSNBC political analyst Susan Del Percio. Also with us, former communications director and spokesman for House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Michael Hardway. Susan, okay, first Maine, now California. Clearly, this issue having to do with transgender athletes in schools is a fight that the president continues to want to pick. Why?
Because his base loves it and because he gets to change the message. I don't think that Trump really cares so much about the issue as much as it deflects a lot of other things which he'd rather not be talking about. And most currently, I think that's a combination of it was the UK tariffs, or I'm sorry, the European Union, boy, that wasn't easy to get out, tariffs, and as well as the Ukraine story that's starting to bubble up and him getting pushback from Vladimir Putin.
How big of a problem is this for Democrats, given we saw what happened with Donald Trump in the election and that big attack ad having to do with transgender that seemed to work for him in 2024? And if you back it up, this has been an issue that's been bubbling for some time. There was a central theme that ultimately Democrats overcame in the Kentucky governor's race, having to do with this anti-trans sort of movement. Here's what then candidate and now Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said when he was dealing with some of those attacks. Watch.
They say that an athlete either has to transition before they reach puberty, where you don't have then that hormonal potential advantage, or you have to go through hormonal therapy for enough time to where there is not a competitive advantage. I'm driven by what I believe is right. And here I'm trying to put what I believe is a calling to always come at things with the greatest of care and compassion for our individuals, especially our youth first.
Michael, that was in 2022. I mean, does that kind of messaging work now for Democrats?
No, this is a red herring. To Susan's point, Donald Trump throws these red meat issues out to his base. But for Democrats, it does us no good to have these conversations. What we should be talking about is what we've done for the American public. Joe Biden created 16 million jobs. That conversation is never had. Democrats created Social Security, the Affordable Care Act, Medicare, Medicaid, all these things, and no one knows because we don't talk about those things. We've even fought to protect unions. We lost the union vote in last year's election, which is insanity given that we are the ones that delivered the PRO Act, which protects unions. We have to talk about those things, not these random social issues that Donald Trump wants us to talk about.
How Democrats are talking and where Democrats are talking seems to matter. That seemed to give the edge to Republicans in the last election cycle. Now we're seeing California's governor trying to enter that male-dominated podcast space that seemed to serve Trump so well. What do you make of Newsom's challenge here, Susan, when it comes to not alienating any parts of the Democratic base, but also appealing to the middle?
I think Newsom is doing it. One, we know he's term limited, so he needs a job. But the second, having Democrats rally around someone like Governor Newsom, I think is a huge mistake. What has he done as governor? That's what the American people want to see. To Michael's point, he was talking about what Democrats could be talking about. What is Gavin Newsom talking about? He's had a Democratic legislature. The mayors of all the big cities are Democrats. He's been governor for 8 years. Has he delivered on affordable housing? No. Has he made California more affordable? No. He has nothing to offer except a big mouth, frankly. There is a place for Democrats to talk about certain issues. I think Elise Slotkin is one of them. But certainly not Gavin Newsom, because, again, he's all talk and has done absolutely nothing.
I mean, Michael, feel free to defend Gavin Newsom if you want, but I also want to focus more bigger. I also want to, focus bigger picture in terms of Democrats and messaging and who their leader is, who's driving that message right now. I thought it's really interesting in the New York Times, there was this Democratic strategist who said she gets vibe checks from voters by asking what animal they would sort of assign to any any member of a party. And here's what she said about Republicans. She got this response from those voters, describing Republicans as lions, tigers, and sharks. Democrats described as tortoises, slugs, and sloths. So there was one answer of a deer in headlights. That doesn't sound like something Democrats would want to be described as.
And you know what? All of that is true, which is sad. It makes me sad because here's the thing. We do the work, but then we go and sort of hope Republicans play by the rules, and they never do. They play to win. So Democrats, if you're a Democrat watching this, play to win.
What does
Whatever
that
it
look
takes.
like? What does playing to win?
No more whining, first of all. No more sort of complaining about the other side and what they do. You should do whatever it takes to deliver a victory. That is the business we are in. None of this sort of we lost, but we have the moral victory, so it's okay. There's no such thing as a moral victory. You won or you did not.
Susan, another critique that Democrats have is that there are too many elite buzzwords. So there was an example of Ruben Gallego, who's, senator from Arizona. He told the Washington Post, they use the term social equity. He said, why do we say that? Why don't we say, we want you to have an even chance? So Trump, is simple speak. He's known for that. People connect that with authenticity. Are Democrats lacking in that realm?
Absolutely, because Democrats have been talking for the last several years about, at a higher level, if you will. They want to talk about everyone and as professors. They talk like they're professors and they're telling everyone what to do instead of relating to people and saying, how can I make you better? How can I make your life better? And finding victories. That's the thing that Democrats, I think, are most lacking, though, right now, is looking to their leaders with actual wins in their columns. Governor Shapiro from Pennsylvania comes to mind. He was able to fix that road collapse, that major road collapse in Pennsylvania in 6 weeks instead of 6 months. That's someone working with Republicans getting something done. And that is, again, you can use all the $10 words you want, but results are what matters to the public.
I owe you first question next time around. Got to leave it there for right now. Thank you both so much, Susan Del Percio, Michael Hardaway. Appreciate the conversation.